This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good?
Good, beautiful day here in Memphis, mid-70s. You know what? After Milwaukee and snow, it's a nice change of pace. But Big O, you will be seeing a lot of me from hotel rooms like this with 9 of the next 10 on the road. So you think it's been rough for the Heat already? They have huge challenges ahead.
Yeah, no, they do. And, the other night, to me, like I told you, and I'm pretty consistent on this. When you were 1-4, you're telling me, are you panicky? I'm like, no, dude, it's 1-4. There's 82 games, right? And so, and then I'm not going to get too high on the Laker win. Sure. You barely hung on. You had 9 turnovers in the fourth quarter. You know how I looked at that game? I said, okay, what are you going to need in March and April, May and June? Okay, you're going to need my Jaquez, because he showed me some cojones, playing defense and everything on LeBron. I'm going to need Bam and Tyler. Bam, nice triple-double, but as a big man, I can't have you shooting 9 of 20. I need you to be more efficient offensively. Tyler, I need you to be more efficient offensively. Jimmy Butler, baby, that's the Butler I need right there. I love it, the efficient Butler. He came into play. To me, that's how I looked at that game. I was critical of the, Tyler, I can't have you 2 of 10, bro, from three-point range. I need efficiency from you. One of the things I loved about the big three, it's almost like they took on the challenge of efficiency. They love being efficient. They prided themselves on that. And because it's better basketball when you're playing more intelligent basketball and you're taking smarter shots and you're setting each other up. And that's the one thing. That's how I looked at that game. Sure, it's nice that you won, but it was kind of an ugly win. And I just want to look at little things in there. Like the other thing that I was looking at was at point guard. I'm like, man, I need Josh to start looking a little better here. That's how I started to critique that game. Elements that I need to see months from now.
No, I agree. I mean, again, it was harrowing. It should not have been that harrowing with Anthony Davis with a groin injury. I'm not going to complain too much about Bam's shooting percentage, because he did have Anthony Davis against him for a reasonable percentage of time, playing against that length again. There are things they're getting to, and that's encouraging. And I agree about Jaime Jaquez, and I just wrote a story at the Sun Sentinel now about how in his role as a complementary piece, he's an important part of the team. I agree about point guard. And that's, what? It's funny because I've been doing these Acura Pembroke Pines reports for years. We've been talking about point guard for years. As soon as it became clear that Kyle Lowry wasn't the be-all, end-all, you knew you needed a stronger backup presence. And you know what, Big O, and I talked to you about this going back to the Ryan Tannehill days. In the NFL, you can tell someone he's a quarterback, but if he's not innately a quarterback, it takes time and it almost never works. Josh Richardson is not a point guard. He can handle, he can defend point guards, but he's not that innate point guard that you see with someone there. So if Kyle Lowry is going to become a part-time, older, 37-year-old player, you needed to have someone in a backup role who is that. Now, I'm not saying go out and sign a John Wall or someone like that, but even hell, Ish Smith, everyone's favorite. Add another team to his legacy. Just someone who knows how to play the position. So I think the Heat is still sorting through stuff. The fact that we're not seeing Drew Smith anymore, I think the Heat are going to let that partial guarantee expire, bring in someone with a little bit more experience. I still think this is a rotation that's still in progress and a roster still in progress, and they're still learning what they need and how to be themselves. And you know what, Big O? This 10-game stretch, 9 of 10 on the road, go 5, you don't want to see it, but go 5-5, get back, get your legs, know who you are. Just like you said with Jimmy Butler. Fantastic game on Monday. But how many do you expect from Jimmy like that over the first half of the season? He's going to bide his time. Yeah.
Not a lot.
Yeah, matter of fact, you and I should keep an eye out on this weekend. In Atlanta on Saturday, San Antonio on Sunday. Does Jimmy, let me get the air quotes out, rest again on Sunday in San Antonio? So this is something that's going to be a work in progress for a while. I agree with that.
Yeah, and the key thing you said there is that, and this is why, again, I wasn't panicking at 1-4. The chef hasn't, he just started cooking, bro.
Yes. Yes.
We're just in the middle of him preparing the ingredients, and he's still cutting stuff up and getting his spices. He hasn't even started mixing stuff up and cooking yet. And so he does this shit every year.
Sure.
What you have in October, November, it's not what you're going to have in March and April. By that time, he would have figured everything out. Plus, there'll be some roster turnover.
Sure.
Be something. They'll figure something out, and they could be the team that also gets, maybe a guy that has an expiring contract. They might be able to add a guy, right? That might be an option.
No, I agree. And to use your cooking analogy a little further, it's like Jimmy is saying, okay, let the sous chefs take care of preparing the start of the season, and I'll come in and I'll finish the souffle when I have to. And you know what? Look, it's not optimal. And you do pay for 41 games. And I get it, everyone out there who follows our Acura Pembroke Pines reports. But the reality is Jimmy Butler is a second half of the season, is a playoff player. The sooner you come to just accept that, the easier the watch gets. I have no issue with Tyler Herro trying to learn who he is right now. Big O, we've seen, I'd say in the Heat's games.
Dude. He had 3 steals the other day.
I'd say in half the games, he has taken the right shots. Half the games we've watched him, we've said, okay, good shot, good shot. Half the games we've seen 4-shot, bad shot, rush shot. You know what? He has to work through the cycle. He's never been truly a leading man for an extended period. Jimmy is stepping back. They don't necessarily have the offensive talent in the starting lineup right now, especially starting a Haywood Highsmith, Kyle Lowry not shooting. So Tyler Herro's learning how to become that. That takes time also. I would say this. I think Tyler Herro is trending in a very positive direction of becoming a greater contributor than maybe we anticipated when we had him traded northeast, northwest, anywhere this offseason. I think Tyler can be a special player, but will that specialist just stop at offense? You pointed out the steals the other day, or can he become more complete? He is rebounding.
Well, there's 2 ways I look at it. Tyler, one, I'm not that worried as much about his offense because I think that's natural to him.
Sure.
So I think he'll easily grow into that position that you're talking about. His bigger issue has been durability. He's got to stay healthy. And then he's got to steal a page from Duncan Robinson. Because that's the other thing I saw, it's just a beautiful thing to see what he did last year when he was on the bench and he figured it out and said, oh shit, if I don't start becoming a better all-around player, I'm not going to find myself not only on the Heat, I may not find myself in the NBA, pretty soon. So he went about making himself a better player. And I think that that's what Tyler needs to do. 1, stay healthy, and 2, learn to be a better player, a more complete player. The offensive stuff for me, that's natural for him. That'll come. It's staying healthy and learn to be a better player for me. That's what I want from Tyler.
Yeah, and that's the completeness. You needed a player at that pay grade. Again, it's interesting. I wrote on my Ask Ira about this today. People complain about Duncan Robinson's contract when the reality is for a 6th man, 18 million is about right these days. I know people, it's whack, but that's how it is. But Tyler Herro this year is starting the first year of a 4-year, $120 million guaranteed contract. When you're a $30 million player, there are greater expectations. You do have to be more complete. You have to keep on adding. I love what Eric Spoelstra says about the Heat's developmental process and their program. He said it's not just for young players and the G League guys. Every single player can develop their game as they go along. We've seen it with Bam Adebayo and that mid-range jump shot and him becoming more complete. Now you need to see it with Tyler Herro. He needs growth. He's still just 23. He needs to grow the next 3 or 4 years. I think he can do that. And at this pay grade, Big O, he has to do that.
Oh, yeah. No, there's no doubt he has to do that. All right, the challenge today against Memphis. What do you see in that one?
You're getting Memphis Grizzlies at a perfect time. You're getting the Grizzlies at a time when John Morant is out. We'll see him next time. When Brandon Clark is out. When Steven Adams is out for the season. For all the woe is we Heat injuries we've dealt with over the first 2 weeks of the season, this is a beat-up team. They barely got by Portland in their last game for their lone win of the season. You have to seize these moments.
The gun isn't loaded. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll leave that be. I'll leave that be right now. So
I'm
where they
sorry.
are right now, you have Atlanta coming up on Saturday, a bit of a tougher challenge. You have some tougher games on this trip also. You've really got to take care of this. You have a weak and wounded opponent. They're 0-3 at home this season. The Heat are 0-3 on the road. Let's make a statement. You need to win some road games. Hey, last trip, I have no issue. Boston Celtics are really good. Minnesota on the second night of a back-to-back without Jimmy, kind of as expected. Milwaukee Bucks, you know Lillard coming off that poor game wanted to have a good game. That's fine. But if the Heat are an above-average East playoff team, you should go in across the street here to FedEx Forum, and you should beat the Grizzlies tonight. You have to take advantage of these opportunities. They should take advantage of these opportunities. And then, Big O, it goes to what you said. You've got to back it up. Butler, good game on Monday, do it again. Bam, good game on Monday, do it again. Tyler, good game on Monday, do it again. If you're in that pay grade of an every night player, you have to back up those performances.
Okay, so Hard Rock app says Heat by 2.5.
Yeah, I got to load my app again.
Wait a minute. It went down to 1.5. What am I doing, Ira?
I don't know. I got to check the injury report. I got to tell you, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. If the Heat can't be this team, you're talking about a team that has Marcus Smart out of his Boston Celtics element, has Jaren Jackson Jr., who may be way overrated, and not much else out there in the court. If you can't take care of this, yeah, I'll leave the gambling to others. We here on the Acura Pembroke Pines Report just provide the information. I'm sure you have multiple gambling sponsors who can handle the rest. This should be an 8 to 10 point Heat win, but that's not gambling information, just my thoughts.
Hey, we're not financial advisors here. I say that all the time here on the show, so it's all right. Don't worry about it.
Or in the words of Big O, take all your Ethereum and put it on the Heat, but that's just me.
No, don't do that. No, don't. Ethereum is a much better bet than the Heat, actually. Put your Doge on the Heat. That's what you do. Your Doge. Put your Doge on the Heat. Injury-wise, how are the Heat going into this game?
There's actually an illness going around the team, so R.J. Hampton and Jamal Cain are away from the team. One thing we've sort of glossed over, Big O, Caleb Martin hasn't played in the regular season. That will make a shaky bench that much better. Here's the good news. For the first time he's traveling. You want to get your players out on the road. That, to me, is a very good sign. This bench has been a little bit wonky. You throw Caleb Martin in there, you're in better shape. Then I really don't know if Kevin Love plays. It'll get interesting now that Haywood Highsmith is starting at the 4, if Caleb comes back also. And interestingly, they sent Cole Swider to the G League. He's up in Sioux Falls. They're practicing. Their season's about to start.
I like that move.
I like the seasoning, but it says something else. There were doubts, one, about whether Duncan Robinson would be with this team with all those trade rumors, and whether Duncan Robinson would be any good. I think because Duncan Robinson has played so well, it's easier to move Cole Swider over to Sioux Falls and let him get the seasoning. Cole Swider was signed to his 2-way contract as insurance. Right now, fortunately, you don't need that insurance. So a lot of little subtle moves by the Heat. And, of course, the big move, naming Udonis Haslem a team executive. I mean, honestly, if I was going to gamble, I could have seen that coming a mile away. This guy is going nowhere. They created a title just so we can keep being around the team because he's going to be here anyway.
Right, exactly. And by the way, they should make him the Turk. So if you cut somebody, just send UD to cut him. That's it. That way you never have.
Yeah. No one's complaining then. You're right.
And then once the player sees UD, it's like, oh shit. This is not good news. I'm seeing the Turk. It's UD. So that's pretty good. All right. I'm glad they're getting Caleb Martin back, especially for this road trip, because this is a long ass road trip, and you need as many good players as possible. And I think Highsmith is another one that will get better as the year goes on. I have a lot of high hopes for Highsmith becoming a factor in this rotation, just like Jaquez has already become a factor because the young man is already mature up here.
And that's the thing, Big O, and it's a double-edged sword. Haywood Highsmith is an impending free agent. He could be our next Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, who prices himself out of the Heat's market. So you want Haywood to be really good, but not too really good. It really is interesting. That's I spoke to Pat Riley about this. He said he thinks there almost should be some developmental clause in the salary cap, that it's not fair if a team develops someone to be worth more, that they can't keep that player once he is worth more. You're going to see that when Caleb Martin becomes a free agent this offseason. You're going to see it when Haywood Highsmith becomes a free agent this offseason. That's the price of such a good to great developmental program.
There we go. All right, what do you got going on the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out?
You know, I knew you wanted to read about it, so I wrote about Jaime Jaquez this morning, and I wrote about it this way. He averaged over 30 minutes a game at UCLA each of the last 3 years. He's playing 18 now with the Heat. He talked about learning to be more efficient in fewer minutes. When you draft that late, even as a first-round pick, you don't play as much. But the kid has the smarts that he realizes, I will give you 18 of my hardest minutes every night. I posted that. That'll be in your paper in the morning. And then my Ask Ira today, I wrote about Duncan Robinson and how who would have thought he would have emerged as the sixth man, and God bless him for putting in the effort and putting in the time and becoming a three-point anchor in that second unit. That's all you want. And you hope that when it comes around for any player who's out of the rotation, he realizes there's still a chance. You have to work toward it.
And by the way, the film session, the moment that they show Jaime a couple times on LeBron, that must have been a fun moment there in the film session.
Oh, he said it was a lifetime moment. He grew up in the LA area. He was born in Irvine in Orange County. He was raised in Camarillo outside of Los Angeles, went to UCLA. I love the honesty. I love the quote he had also. It's in the story. He goes, one day I'll tell my kids about that when I have kids. So he already has his lifetime moment. I guarantee you, somewhere in the Jaquez family home back in California, there's already a picture of Jaime coming up with that steal against LeBron James. That is one of those can't believe it really happened kind of moments.
Yeah, pretty damn cool. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeats and catch him doing his thing here with our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week for your travels.
Catch you next week. Back to sell more cars next week. Thanks, Big O.
Got it, sir. Thank you. There you go. Ira Winderman. 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. It is the finest dealership in the business. And by the way, folks, if you own an Acura or lease an Acura, make sure you go check out our service center. Why? Because Jordan Ferber, yes, sir, he's there. He's a great dude. And it's run by Mike Chan. Mike Chan is an absolute stud. Tell him that Big O sent you, and trust me, they will take care of you at 15601 Pines Boulevard, where the Integra, the 2024, $329 a month, 3.9% financing for 36 months. The 2023 TLX, $399, 3.9% financing for 36 months. The MDX 2024, we have an MDX. We've had two MDXs over the lifetime here in our house. We only have one left right now. The wife has the MDX. $529 a month for the 2024, 3.9% financing for 36 months. And the TLX Type S, that thing is just gorgeous, loaded with extras. Still have some 2023 models, only $649 a month. So go check it out, folks, at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.